Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Bola. Hi.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. We'll start the class. Okay, last class we know very well that we gone through the integration and the scope management. So, which process we were? We were in the direct and managed project work, right? Right or wrong? Hello, my voice is reachable.
Yeah, Bola. Yeah, direct and manage.
Okay. Other people are connected. Other people are connected.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes,
Yes,
Bola.
yes.
Everyone, good evening. Within, good evening. Right? Vijay Babu sir, good evening. Pavan, good evening. Vinod, good evening. Skala and Nilamparadi, good evening. Mr. Varun, Sanjay, good evening, everyone. So we'll start. So we were seeing about the direct and managed project work. So who is going to take this ownership for this process? Who will be taking the complete ownership for this process? Direct and managed project work. Who will be the person to take the ownership for this particular process?
Project manager.
Project manager.
PM. Can project manager can substitute this process to his subordinates? Can project manager can substitute this process to his subordinates? Can project manager substitute this process, direct and manage project work to subordinate? Say yes or no.
Yes, in some situation we used to delegate.
That is a rare situation, ma'am, but this is a process.
Normally we won't.
Yeah, project manager will be having a mammoth, this one, no? The roles and responsibility here, right? Because he is going to take the complete actions, the factory is going to just make sure that the complete actions will be kept here and people will move forward, right? So the project manager, this particular process is going to have the mammoth power and he can't substitute this process unless there is any kind of emergency. He has to take care of this process. Very clearly, this particular process shows that he doesn't require to go down and do the work. He has to direct the work and he has to manage the work, right? So he's not only managing the project work, he's going to manage the stakeholder expectations and he's going to make sure that he's going to develop his team on this process and he's going to just manage the team performance. So once the team is completely acquired, so acquisition will be happening in the execution. So the complete team assignments will be coming to the project manager who's going to work and who will be taking what kind of roles and responsibilities. So everything will be there in the project manager. So once he's going to bring the team assignments, we can expect that all the people will be having the same skill sets.
No.
No. So what happened here? The project manager has to develop his team. So this is going to happen in the resource management. So he has to develop his team. And once the team is developed, he has to do the formal and informal assessment. And he has to make sure that he has to manage the team performance. He has to manage the team performance. So, and he has to manage the expectation of the stakeholders. He has to manage the expectation of the stakeholders. He has to manage the expectation of the team members and make sure that all the issues will be sorted out in this process, right? So develop team. So when the project manager has to start developing his team, the people is going to take the role as an execution role. They need to just, once the plan is ready and the plan is hand over, or the mobilization will be happening and the implementation has to do for you to just do the delivery. So what are the things the project manager has to mobilize? Once all the management plans are integrated and got the approval and they will be having the high level meeting, a strategic meeting. We call this one as a kickoff meeting between the planning team and the execution team under the leadership of project manager, steering committee and top board directors. So now the project is ready to move for the implementations. So the project manager has to mobilize before something is implemented. So he has to do the mobilization. Then he has to make sure that the work has to be implemented as per the plan. And he has to make sure that the work has to give some certain outputs. Defined outputs should be given once they're going to once the people are working. So how he is going to develop his team? How he is going to develop his team? Can we expect all the 5 fingers will be the same length?
No.
So the people has to work for the same component. The people should have the same skill set to work for the same component. So what the project manager has to do? What the project manager has to do? How he is going to develop his team? Because the team is ready to do the implementations. He's having the complete team assignments. He's having the complete directory, the team directory, who's going to work and what tasks they need to perform. What is the role and responsibility and who's going to supervise these people. So every information will be there in the project manager. So right now the project manager has to develop his team. He has to make sure that all the skill set will be matching so the people can do the proper implementations. So if the project manager wants to just make sure that all the skill set are matching with each other. So what activity the project manager has to perform? Give me any answer. Give me any answer. It may be right or it may be wrong. Don't try to hesitate. Please come out with your answers. So what kind of activity the project manager will do? He has done the complete acquisitions. He has given the complete recruitment list to HR. So HR is helping them to just bring the people depending upon the qualifications which is given by the project manager. So everything is ready right now. Ready. The team directory is ready. The team assignments is ready. Right now, the project will be moving towards the development stage. He has to develop the team. So what kind of development the project manager has to do? In order to develop the team, the project manager has to move very closer to the team members. So what activities the project manager will do? Close very close.
Team building activities.
Yes. Don't try to forget this one. So once he start developing this team, so what he will do? He will be doing a team building activities. So when he has to start the team building activities, he has to wait for some auspicious day, or he has to start from the day one. When the project manager has to start the team building activities, he has to just wait for some good day or auspicious day, or the project manager has to start the team building activities on the day one. The day one, right? So what are the team building activities? Because the project manager has to take the team through the stages. The project manager has to take the complete team through the stages. So this will be very important. Team building activities, at least you'll be getting 5 to 6 questions. Mark this one in your notepad, team building activities. So during the execution, during the implementation, the process called develop team process, which is coming under the resource management, the project manager has to develop his team. So until he's giving the proper development to his team, and he has to assess formally and informally whether the things are working out well for the people to get the development. If the people are developed, and he has to make sure that the people are working and making the performance, good performance. So he has to manage the team performance. And once he's managing the team performance, the project manager knows very clearly that there will be a lot of conflict of interest will be happening between the team members. Once he's going to manage the team. So you know very well that what will be the conflict resolution technique he has to use once he's managing his team conflicts. So you know very well that collaboration, a directive approach. So that will be happening in the process called manage team process. But the team building activities will be starting from the develop team process. So he has to build the team in the day one. So he has to do various kind of team building activities. Can you name any one of the team building activities?
Meetings.
Okay, meetings. If we are a project manager, what kind of team building activities you're going to perform? Meetings. Where are you going to conduct the meetings, Ms. Kala? You can be a unique project manager. Can you take your team outside the outdoor and can you conduct a team building meetings there? Is it possible for you to take your team as one day outdoor and conduct a progress review or status review meeting there? You can do, right? That is one of the team building.
Yes, we can do it.
Can you buy the breakfast for them? Morning breakfast?
Yes.
Okay, you can go to the near bakery, you can go to the pastry shop, you can buy some cake or croissants or bun or bread, something you can bring to the breakfast. Can you conduct something called luncheon meetings?
Yes.
So what do you mean the luncheon meetings? There's all the things he has to do in the direct and managed project work. So the resource, the process which is going to come under the execution, under the resource management will be coming here, direct and managed project work. He has to develop his team and he has to manage the team performance. So what do you mean the luncheon meetings? So luncheon meeting is very common in the corporate companies. And you can just make sure that you can just address one topic to each and every person per day. You can have your sandwiches and you can ask the people during the lunch, they can just come with their speech. So each and every team member has to get the opportunity to just come with some informations. They have to address something about 30 to 45 minutes. So luncheon meeting will be there. So you can take the people outside also for the lunch. You can do that also, right? Right or
Yes.
not? Okay. What about the social activities? What kind of social activities will make you to just build your team? Because the main
Games.
concept is that we are not able, if we are single, we never came here to win the matches. Our teamwork should make sure that we are winning the championships. That is our goal. So what kind of social activities you need to perform? Can you take the people, nightclubs? Can you take your subordinate, your juniors to the nightclubs? Don't try to compel anyone who's not drinking. Because the people will just feel very happy once they feel they want to socialize with other people, especially when they want to socialize with their seniors. So don't try to compel to anyone to drink. So you can do that also. You can take your people to nightclubs. Can you play the cards with them? Can you play cards with your team members? Can we count that also one of the team building activities? Hello?
Yes, Bala.
No.
You can play
No,
the
I
cards, right? Friendly, you can play the cards, right? Because be very cautious. A team which is going to play forever, they're going to stay forever. Don't try to just do this one. Don't forget this one. As a manager, as a leader, make sure that you need to play with your team. And that makes you to stay forever with your team, right? And even you can play some other games also, like you can you can play football with them, you can play hockey with them, you can play cricket with them. You can play some games. But be very cautious that you need to ensure that everyone is having a sufficient insurance if anything is going wrong. Can you play bungee jumping with them? Can you take them
Yes.
to a nearby water theme park?
Yes.
Do that one, right? You can take them to near theme park, or you can take them to the aqua park or water park, right? You can do the bungee jumping with them. You can do some horse trading with them. Can you do some other social activities like you can just serve to the person who's not having food? Can you take your team, each and every one has to prepare the food and you can serve the food to the people who are homeless? Can you do that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, I'm not speaking anything outside. I'm speaking everything which is very relevant because 42% of your question will be targeting all this. Team building activities will be one of the information that you need to do in the direct and managed project work. You need to start developing a team at the day one because you need to just make sure that you are moving very close. In order to just build your team, you have to move closer to your team members. You need to form a good relationship with your team members. All these activities make a good relationship with your team members. Being a project manager, always it's your duty to earn the trust from your team members. You should be a trustworthy project manager. You should be a trustworthy leader, right? Can you take the team in weekends and to the nearby beaches, and we can just pick up some garbages there? We can do that kind of social activities.
Yes, Bala.
Well, that also can be done, right? So that also be done. This is all the social activities, socializing yourself with your team members and building your team with all these activities. Make sure that you are moving very closer to the team and you are having a very good relationship with the team members. Because here we never came to win the matches, individual matches. Every focus is that we need to win the entire championships. Without teamwork, nothing is possible, right? Now, what happened here? Once you start the team building activities, you'll be taking the team throughout the stages. You'll be taking the team throughout the stages. There are 5 stages. 1960, there is a person, a philosopher. His name is Bruce. Please note it, Bruce Tuckman. Bruce Tuckman has given the stages. So he has named that one ladder of team building stages. It's a ladder of team building stages. You need to climb each and every ladder, each and every step in a ladder, and make sure that your team is going to properly build. So we'll go through the stages. There are 5 stages, which is very important. It will be coming like a rhyming. So the first stage is that you need to form your team. So forming. The second stage to build the team will be storming. The third stage for you to take your team will be called as a norming stage. The fourth one is performing stage. The last stage is adjoining. So you and me, once we are a novice, once we are juniors, we have to go through the complete stages. There's no chance for you to skip any stages. We need to go through all the stages, and believe me, you will be getting at least 5 to 7 questions on all this. Especially once they're going to ask the questions on a drag and drop. You need to match the following. You need to just make sure that you need to know the scenarios. What will be the scenario in the forming? What kind of leadership skills the project manager should have in the forming stage? What kind of leadership the project manager should have in the storming stage? What kind of leadership he should have in the norming? And what kind of leadership he should have in performing and adjoining? So this will be the 5 stages of a team building. You need to take through the complete stages. Now you're going to repeat the project. The same kind of project you'll be repeating with the same kind of team members. You may skip some stages, but initially, once you're going to take the newcomers, you need to take through the complete stages. You need to take through forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining. Okay, please note down. The forming stage is called as the orientation stage. Day 1, you're going to form your team. So what is the mentality of the team members who's going to work under you? They have the complete certainty about your organization and your background, or they have the complete uncertainty. They are certain about the things or uncertain about the things.
Uncertain.
They are uncertain, right? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What you need to do? What kind of leadership will be helping you? What kind of leadership skills will be helping you? I said very clearly, depending upon the environment, we make sure that you need to change your leadership skills. So don't go with that, the leadership skills, which we saw like a transactional, like a laissez-faire leadership skills, transformational leadership skills, charismatic leadership skills, interactional leadership skills, servant leadership. So what leadership? This will be a peculiar leadership skills. So people are very uncertain. They are new to the organizations. They are just graduated and they are just joining the team. So you as a project manager has to show them a proper directions, right? You need to be a spotlight. You need to make sure that you need to show the proper directions. So please note down, as a project manager, to clear the uncertainty from my team members, I need to just have the leadership skills called a directive leadership skills. What's that? Directive. So forming the orientation stage will be insisting you to use as leadership skills. The leadership skills is called as the directive leadership skills. You have to show the proper direction to your team members. They believe you, they came and they're going to work under you. So you need to show them a proper directions. A directive leadership skills is always you need to use in the stage called forming. Now the next one is a storming stage. And the storming stage is one of the important stage where you can see a lot of turbulence. Because you're going to bring the people and you're going to ask the people to just come for meetings. And you'll be asking the people to come with their own decisions, or they're asking some people views. So all the views and the decision will be the same. People will not have the ego. People will not have the ego clash.
Yes, it will be there.
There will be ego, right? Lot of ego clashes will be there. Why I need to take your views? Why I need to take your views? What is the necessity for me to follow your decisions? My decision is the best decision. My way is the best way. You have your way. But the thing is that we need to work as a unit. So you know very well, this will be a turbulent stage. It's a storming stage. You can't get the proper direction. So what leadership skills I need to have to bring my people in from the turbulent stage? So you doesn't know how much time you're going to spend on this particular stage. It will take many days. It will take many weeks. It will take many months. But you need to pull all your team members to come out of the stage, this particular stages. Completely, the stages are turbulence. You can't see the clear picture. The things are not so concise. People are fighting with each other. So what kind of leadership skills I need to use? I need to just use the leadership skills based on coaching leadership skills. Coaching. I need to make sure that people are getting a proper coaching. You need to coach the people. What is good? What is bad? You need to be a good mentor. You need to give them a proper guidelines. You need to just serve them as a guide. So the coaching leadership skills will be helping you to just take your team from the storming stage and you'll be going to the norming stage. So in the forming stage, you can see there will be 100% uncertainty. Once you're bringing the people to the stage called storming, you can't see this kind of uncertainty. You'll be having uncertainty, but uncertainty will be not 100%. It will be like a 70 to 80% uncertainty will be there in the storming stage. But once you are bringing the people from the storming to norming, the people will be coming very close to each other. So you can see that the complete uncertainty was not gone from the team environment. You can see that will be like a 10 to 15% of uncertainty will be there in the team. So the people will be coming very close to each other. They'll be getting introduced with each other. They'll be just giving their culture. They'll be discussing about the backgrounds, the ethics, everything will be discussed among the people. The people are coming very close together. So as a leader, I need to take the people from this stage to the performing stage where the people can work as a unit. So what style will be helping me to just take the people from the norming to the performing stage? Please note, you have to make sure that everyone should actively participate. So you need to make sure that people are participating. So you need to take the skills called participative leadership skills. So participative leadership skills, make sure that everyone has to participate. You are giving the equal importance to everyone. You are giving equal importance to everyone. You are so impartial. You are unbiased. You are a good leader. So make everyone to participate. So everyone has to participate. So
this participative leadership skill will be in norming stage.
Norming stage. The first one, forming, that makes you to just use the directive leadership skills. The storming stage, you need to make sure that you need to make sure you are turning as a coach. You need to coach the people what is good, what is bad. Why you need to fight. So you need to coach them a good principle. So you need to take the people from that turbulent stage, from the storming, you need to come into the norming stage. So where you make the people to participate. So you are taking the participative leadership skills and make everyone to participate in day-to-day activities. Right, guys? Then your leadership skills make sure that the people are moving from norming stage to the performing stage. You are making the people to come to the performing stage. And this is a stage you are able to see the complete uncertainty has gone away. The people will be working as a unit. Wherever you can see that motivation will be flowing throughout the channels. People are so motivated. You're not feeling well, Kala. No problem. I'll take your task. You want any tablets I need to buy from the medical shop, drugstore. You want me to buy some milk or bread? So this kind of this kind of things will be happening between the team members. You can see there is a clear changes from the forming stage. Once you're bringing to the forming stage, your leadership skills will be helping you to just pull the team from each and every stages. So complete uncertainty is gone away. People will be having a complete helping mind. No problem. I'll take your task. I'll just speak to the manager. So you can't see this one in the forming stage. So what you need to do, the people are coming with their own decisions. You need to empower your team. You need to give them, you have to give the people to proper authority to come with their decision. They should not come and stand for your decisions. So make the people autonomous. So what style will be helping you? You need to just use the leadership skills that you need to transfer from the participative to delegative leadership styles. What is that? Delegative. You have to delegate. The decision authority should be properly delegated to each and every team members. Don't ever do any kind of micromanagement. So micromanagement will not work here. The people are so autonomous. The people are so empowered. So you need to respect each and every people because the people are working as a unit. The work is done. They're going to complete the objective. right? Because everything is coming from the teamwork. Project is not going to be happening in the backup. It's not going to be one man show. It's a complete teamwork. So you need to pull the team from the norming to the performing stage. So once you are bringing the people from the performing stage, the last one at the closing stage of your project, you're going to close a particular phase, or you'll be closing a particular iterations, or you will be moving to the next iteration, or you'll be closing the final phase of your project. Make sure that you need to disorient your team. You have to detach yourself from your team members. After all, you are a project manager. You are not a deciding authority when a new project will come, right? So the commercial department, the contract department, the legal department, they are involved in doing all the proposals, all the contract related things. So once you are getting the award, you are awarded. So make sure that you will be a project manager. Then you need to start with performing, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining. If you have the same team to repeat, you can just skip any like storming, you can skip, norming, you can skip directly. You can go with forming, performing, and adjoining. So adjoining, you need to make sure that at the closing stage, you need to dismantle your team. You have to disorient yourself from the team. Don't try to bond to any kind of sentimental emotions, right? So you need to just boost your team members. The people asked to wait for the new project, that you need to head the new project. The real applause for a project manager will be coming from this team member, not from the management. So adjoining is a stage where you have to detach yourself from your team members. So once the new project is awarded, once a new team is going to come, so you need to decide what all the stages you need to go through, whether the 5 complete stages we have to go through, or we can skip any stages. What happened? Project manager is doing the same kind of project, and they decide to skip some stages like a storming and norming. They want to form, they want to go for they want directly to perform, and they want to join. But a new team members are joining the team. So what the project manager has to do? This is examination point of view. They'll be asking the question: you are a project manager, you are working with the same team member, and you're repeating the same kind of project. It's a new project, and in between your project, a new team members are joining you. So you can skip all the stages. You can what you decided to take your team, you will be taking the team through the stages, or you'll be skipping the stages.
We'll follow all the stages.
All the stages we
When
are
one person is going to join, you will make sure that you need to go through the complete stages. You need to go through the forming, you need to go through the storming, norming, performing, and adjoining. If you have the same team member who are working with you for several years, no need to perform the storming or norming. You can start with forming, you can go with the performing, and you can just complete with the adjoining. Any questions there? I'm not giving anything which is not relevant. It's very important. At least you will be getting like a 4 to 5 questions on this. So team building activities is very important, and you have to, with the team building activities only, you are able to take the team throughout the stages. So this is going to happen during the implementations. So one process is going to support for you to do the team building activities, develop team process from the resource management, which is coming under the integration. You have to integrate that particular process here, and you need to do the complete things. You have to do the complete team building activities and make sure that you'll be taking the team through the stages. So see the scenario, and they'll be giving what kind of leadership you will be using for each and every scenario. They'll be keeping there. So you need to just understand the scenario and what will be the stages you need to pick, and you need to align with that scenario. You need to pick from the available options. Any questions on this? Any questions?
No, Bala.
So be very cautious. Develop a team process. You are able to give the development to the team by giving them a formal training and informal training. You are doing a formal assessment and informal assessment before the team is going to start their performance. So once a complete development stage is completed, so the development can happen because you need to change your leadership skills, and you make sure that you need to take the team through all the stages. This will be the stages. This stages is given in 1960 by a theorist called Bruce Tuckman. So ladder of team building stages. These are 5 stages. You can't skip any stages if the team are new. If you are working with the old team, all the stages are is not important. You can skip some stages. But any person is going to come, even one person or more than one person is going to join newly from with your team, with you. Make sure that you need to repeat from forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjoining. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay. So develop team is a process which is coming under the resource management. You should properly integrate here and you have to do all kind of team building activities, and you need to take the team through the stages. Once you are able to formally and informally assess the team can work for the assigned task, then you need to make sure that you need to manage the team performance. You need to raise various kind of KPIs. You have to report what they've done, whether they are up to the mark, whether they are able to keep the performance under control, or they are not able to do the things properly. So you need to give the performance appraisal based on the team performance. So once you start giving the performance appraisal, you know very well who's working, who's not working. So you'll be having a lot of conflicts. So in managed team process, you have to properly integrate here, and you need to make sure that what kind of conflict resolution technique I need to use for the scenarios. Whether I can go with the collaborative approach, or whether I need to go with the problem solving approach, whether I need to reconcile, whether I need to compromise, whether I need to force, or whether I need to direct the people, whether I need to retreat or I need to withdraw, whether I need to smooth or whether I need to accommodate. So all those things we have to use once you are coming to the managed team process. So that also should be properly integrated here under the direct and managed project work. Is it clear or not, guys? So conflict management, we have to speak under the managed team performance. Team building activities and team building stages should be discussed under the develop team process. So once you're going to acquire your team and you have the complete team directory, you need to start developing your team. And once you start developing team, you need to make sure that I need to move very closer to the team. I need to make a good relationship with that team. So what kind of team building activities I need to perform to take the team through the stages? So once you're able to take the team through the stages, the people will be working as a unit. So the people start performing for you. So once they start performing, you need to raise the performance report on the work which they're going to contribute. So the work is very good work, you'll be giving the good performance appraisal. If the work is not up to the expectation, you'll be giving the bad appraisals. There will be a lot of conflicts between the team members. You as a project manager, don't try to come with any kind of resolution until it is escalated to you. So once it is escalated, the scenario is going to come to you. You need to just make sure that you need to see the intensity of the conflict. You have to see the conflicting parties. Then you need to take a solution, whether it's a long-term solution, it can be fixed, or short-term solution can be fixed. So depending upon the solution, depending upon the conflict resolution, so depending upon the conflicts, make sure that your resolution should be aligned with the conflicts. So you need to be a master in understanding the conflict management. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we have to do, so the intention for you to perform this process, you have to take your project charter, because the project charter will be giving the authority to the project manager, and you need to collect various kind of contribution. The develop project management plan, you need to develop the master document, you need to develop the mother document. So you'll be taking the contribution from all your area, from the scope to the stakeholder management. You're able to integrate your PMP here, project management plan, and you'll be having the kickoff meeting, and you will be ready with your management plan, and you will be giving to the executions. So what is the role of execution? They have three things. Please note down. The role of execution, they have to execute the PMP, project management plan. They have to execute updated project management plan, and they have to implement approved change request. They have to implement approved change request. These are the three things they have to do. They have to implement the plans, or they have to implement the updated plans. They need to implement the approved change request. So these are the three things they have to do in the direct and managed project work. And what is the output you're going to get? There will be three output you will be getting here. The first output, you know very well that we will be getting something called verifiable deliverables. Right? The second one is your work performance data. The third one is issue logs. Issue logs. So what you're going to do with this verifiable deliverables? What you will be doing for verifiable deliverables? You'll be calling the customer to take the deliverables.
No.
Then what you're going to do?
Moving to quality check.
The first output which you're going to get from the direct and managed project work, because the people is going to work as a unit, they're going to produce the deliverables. So that's subject to verification. So we'll be taking that one to quality control, right?
Control.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is the output you're going to get here?
Verified.
Verified
Approved.
Verified, completely verified. It can go to the customers. Right? So where are you going to take the verified deliverables? You'll be taking to validate scope process. So what is the output you're going to get from validate scope?
Accepted or approved delivery.
Accepted deliverables. What are you going to do with the accepted deliverables? You'll be taking that one as a primary input for you to close your project or a particular phase. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yes.
Is it clear or not?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. If it is rejected, your verified deliverable is rejected. What are you going to do? It's not passing the
Correct.
inspections. It is not passing the inspections. The inspector came with a big, long checklist and is going through the company. It's doing the complete review on the deliverables, the product, the service, the results. So that can't be accepted.
Change request.
So the change request. So why the change request? What kind of a change request? Will go where? Will go where?
Approval.
Will go where? Work performance informations. Change request is a recommendation whether to go with the preventive, corrective, or defect repair. The reason for the change request and the recommendation will go into work performance informations. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it
Yes.
clear or not? Because you are sending the data of your deliverable to each and every control process, right? Right or wrong? You are able to produce the data, right? Work performance data, right? Hello?
Yes.
The second output is your work performance data, right?
Correct.
So can you take any actions on the data which is generated around your deliverable? No.
Raw data.
So it's a raw
It's a raw
data, it's a raw measurements. So I can't take any actions, or I can't do any kind of conclusions, or I can't take any kind of decisions. So what I need to do, I need to analyze this raw data. I need to bring more context for me to take a decision. So all the raw data which is generated here as a second output, I'm going to send to the controlling process. So validate scope is going to take as raw data. Control scope is going to take as raw data. Control schedule is going to take raw data. Control cost is going to take the raw data. Control quality is going to take the raw data. Raw data are your actuals. So actuals should be compared with your plans and your management plans and baselines. So once you're going to compare this one, you are able to know whether there is any kind of variance or not. Right or not? Right or not, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? For example, in validate scope process, at this stage, you need to validate 5 deliverables. So that is your plan data. But actual data is giving the information that you brought only 3 deliverables. Only 3 deliverables are validated. So you have a variance here. It's a negative variance or positive variance?
Negative.
Negative. Because 2 are rejected. So you're going to apply for change request. And while it's rejected from the customer point of view, you need to come with the work performance informations. You're comparing the work performance data with your plan, and you're able to find out the variance. And the data is giving the actuals, and the plans are giving your plan. It's giving the plan metrics, and you're able to just compare with the plan metrics. And if there is no variance, if you have the 0 variance, or if you have the positive variance, there is no problem. The project is going as per the plan. If it's showing the negative variance, so it's good or bad for the project?
Not good.
It's not good, right? For example, you need to complete a sort of for 80 tasks. So far, you need to complete 80 tasks. That's your planned metrics. But your team is able to complete only 62 tasks. So you need to compare this one, right? So you're finding variance, right? So your people is not able to do 18 tasks, which is planned. Out of 80, they are able to do only 62 tasks. You are finding the variance. What are you going to do? You need to correct it, right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to apply for the, you're going to recommend for the change request, either it be a preventive or corrective. And what is the reason why the people is not able to do that 80 tasks which is assigned to them? You have to give the reason, right? You have to give the reason, right?
Yes.
Why the people is not able to, because of resource shortage, resources not available, the manpower company is not able to give the things, or the particular important delivery is not able to deliver on the proper time. That's a delay. So what will be the subsequent, what the task, dependency task will be impacted by this? What is your preventive actions? What is your corrective actions? So you need to just give that one in the form of work performance informations. So the second output which you're going to generate here will be your work performance data. So it's each and every data, it's raw data and raw observation. What you're going to do, you're going to just feed that work performance data here in all the controlling process. All the controlling process, the primary input will be your work performance data and your management plans and the baselines. Now, once your people is able to just to do the root cause analysis and find out the variance, and they will be giving the recommendation, what kind of change request and what they need to do to remove the variance, or how long the variance will stay in your project, and what measures they have to do. So everything will be coming in the form of work performance information. Your raw data will be converted into work performance information and along with the change request. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
So be very cautious. The second output which you're able to get from plan, direct and managed project work will be your data, your work performance data. So you need to just make sure that all the data to the specific domain areas, you need to send to the controlling process. There will be a controlling owner will be there. So you need to send this particular data and ask him to just do the analysis, to compare the actual with the plan and see there is any variance. If there is no variance, ask him to give the information through work performance information. If there is variance also, ask him to give the root cause analysis, because you are the project manager. You can't do this kind of analysis. You can't guide this kind of assessment. You need to extract the work from your people. So once the people are coming with the work performance informations, so where are you going to take the work performance informations? So validate scope process will be giving the work performance information. Control scope will be giving the work performance information. Control schedule will be giving the work performance information. Control cost will be giving the work performance information. Control quality will be giving the work performance information. So similarly, all the controlling process will be giving the work performance information, because it's able to just compare the plan with the actuals, and it's able to find out the variance and the root cause for the variance and what they need to do, the recommendation, how long the impact will stay, whether it's a positive impact or negative impact, whether we can keep that impact, or we have to do something for us to remove that impact. So all this will be coming in the form of work performance information along with the change request. Now, where are you going to send the change request and where are you going to send the work performance informations?
Change
Change
request
request
to
for
change
approval.
control board.
Work performance information should go where? All the work
Report.
performance information collected from various monitoring and controlling process. We have at least one controlling process for each and every area. For the scope, we have one controlling process, two controlling process. For schedule, we have one controlling process. So each and every domain area will be having its own controlling process. So we are able to get the work performance information as output. So where you're going to take that one and feed as input? Where you'll be collecting all the work performance information, where it will be integrated as a single input. You're able to, the scope, the technical department, they're able to give their work performance information after they've done the assessment on the data by comparing with the actuals. So they're able to find out the variance, and they are giving the clear information why the variance came, why there's a scope variance, why there's a scope creep, whether it came as a formal approval or it's not came, why the scope is added, how the scope is added, what we need to do, whether to go with the preventive or corrective actions, or what is the technical characteristics of that particular plastics. So that is giving the good result or bad result, that is giving the good flexibility or bad flexibility. So you are able to just bring into work performance informations. So now where are you going to set the work performance information? All the work performance information will be coming as output from all the controlling process. So where are you going to take the work performance information as an integrated input?
Log.
Perform integrated change control again.
No.
Will it go there?
Perform integrated change control will be collecting the various change requests, which is coming as an output in order to the controlling, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what you will
Yes.
work performance, you need to just collect the work performance information individually. Where you will be sending the performance information? Where the team will be sending? The team will be sending to the steering committee or project manager?
Project manager.
Okay, so where the project manager will collect here, the project manager will collect the complete work performance information about the project and monitor and control project work. So the role of monitor and control project work is something is as they have to collect the complete work performance information from all the controlling process. Is it clear or not, guys? The second output of a direct and managed project work, which is coming under the execution, is your data, work performance data. You are collecting, the data are generated. You want to know whether the actual work is done based on the planned work, or there is any kind of variance. What kind of variance? Whether it's a positive variance, zero variance, or it's a negative variance. So you're sending the data to all the controlling process, and all the controlling process will be having their own plan metrics, and they're able to just compare the data with the plan metrics, and they're able to find out the variance. If there's a negative variance, they need to know, they need to give the information through the work performance informations. Why there was a negative variance, the reason, the root cause, what we need to do, where are the things which should be impacted, how the money, whether the cost is impacted of this variance, schedule is impacted, resources is impacted, communication is impacted. So they need to come with the work performance information. So once all the controlling process is giving their work performance information as output, so all the work performance information should be collected by the project manager and the project management team in monitor and control project work. So the role of this process is that to collect the complete work performance information, because the project manager has to do the final assessment, right? Before it is generated as a report, the project manager has to look on this, right or not, sir?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Bala, you're there.
I'm connected with you or not, guys? Guys, I'm connected with you or not, please.
Yes.
Yes, Bala.
So before
Yes, yes.
before the performance information is generated as a report, make sure that a one copy of the work performance information should be given to the project manager in the process called monitor and control project work process. So the work performance information will be integrated here. The complete work performance information on your project, overall project will be collected here, and the project manager will be asking the IT person to generate as work performance reports. So the role of monitoring and controlling is nothing but it has to collect the various work performance information, which is coming as an output from all the monitoring and controlling process. And the project manager has to see the final, he has to just see the assessments, whether the assessment is done properly or not. He and his team has to see that one. And if there is any kind of doubts, they need to clarify with the person who has done the assessment, why there is a wrongly you're given. Can you just correct this one and give to me before it is generated work performance report and reported to the stakeholders, internal and external. The project manager has to do his final assessments. So once the project manager has done his final assessment, everything is integrated and it will be sent as a work performance reports. So you are able to transform your data. How we are able to transform your data? Work performance data is transformed into work performance information, and that will be generated as a work performance report, WPR. Now, which knowledge area or domain area will be taking responsibility to disseminate it? Hello?
Bala, can you repeat this last line, what you said?
See, work performance data, where it is generated.
In monitoring and control process.
Once you're going to coordinate
Direct
all your work, you're able to bring the data, right? You have the deliverables, you'll be having the data on the deliverables. So what you're going to do with the data, we'll be sending the individual data to all the controlling process, right? Data. You're going to send the data here, right?
Yes.
Right? How many inspections how many inspections at this particular time you need to do? How many inspection has done by the inspectors? Right? How many deliverables are verified? How many deliverables are not verified? Right? How many resources we plan to utilize? How many resources till date we have utilized? So you're able to collect the data, actual data, and you're comparing with the planned data, and you're able to find out the variance. So if you're going to find out the negative variance, the controlling process owner will just recommend for the change request. The reason for the change request will be coming in the form of work performance information. There could be a detailed information about the data. The data are processed and added more context. Why there is a discrepancy, why there is a delay, why there is overspend, why there is a scope creep, why you are not able to do the proper validation, why this less validation has happened, right? Why more utilization of resources is happening, why less inspection is done, why less audit is done. So you're able to do the reason for that, you're able to bring in the form of work performance informations. So each and every controlling process will throw output as work performance informations along with the change request. Now, what you need to do, you need to collect all the work performance information and you have to send to the project manager in monitoring and controlling project work. So the project manager team is going to receive the complete work performance information from all the controlling process, and they'll be doing the final assessment before they're going to generate as report. So once they are seeing the complete information and going through the work performance information, they are able, whether the people is able to do the proper assessment, whether the people is given the proper recommendation, whether to go with the preventive or corrective action, which suggestion we can take. So all the information the project has to read 1 or 2 times before it is generated as work performance reports. So the work performance data is unprocessed data, and you're processing it into work performance information. Now you're able to take an action. So the project manager can take an action, the project manager can put something, the project manager can do a decision going through the work performance information, and is asking the team to convert this one as a work performance reports. right? So the reports can be a dashboard reports, or it can be a memo, or it can be a justification, or it can be histograms. It can be summary. It can be stoplights, red, yellow, and white. It will be giving the project status, right? Or it can be a bubble chart, or it can be a pie chart, or it can be a tabular form, or it can be the mathematical equations. So what you need to do, you need to take your communication management plan, and you need to make sure that what communication, how we need to communicate this report, and who will be the person who has to receive the reports. So communication management will be taking the communication management plan will be giving you the complete information, who asked you to send the report, what kind of report we need to generate, whether we need to come with a graphical, whether we need to come with a mathematical equation, or whether we need to come into a tabular form. So your communication management plan will be giving here. And manage communication process is one of the processes that they have to disseminate the complete information as per the communication requirement of the stakeholders. All your work performance report has to be disseminated by the managed communication process. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yes, Bala.
Any questions, guys? So the role of monitoring and controlling is nothing but it has to integrate various kind of work performance information, and it has to see whether the assessment is done by the control process owners there, whether they have any recommendation for the project manager, what kind of action the project manager has to take, what kind of decision the project manager can do, what kind of recommendation the project manager can recommend to the management, right? Whether to accept it, whether to just ask some clarification. So once everything is concluded, the project manager will ask the team to integrate all the information and ask the communication team to just to generate this one as a reports. Your communication management plan will serve as a roadmap for you to know which audience, what will be the distribution list you have, when you need to send your communication. It can be bi-weekly reports, or it can be weekly one time, or 50 days once, or it will be quarterly once. So this kind of information will be given by the communication management plan, what methods you have to use, what model you have to use, what technology you have to use to send this information. So once you plan, you need to execute. So execution will be taken by managed communication process. The complete dissemination of all your work performance report will be happening in the managed communication process. So the primary input for you to just to perform in the managed communication is work performance report, and you will be using the complete communication methods, model, technology for you to disseminate your information to the stakeholders. Any questions? Any questions?
No, Bala.
No.
So if
Yeah, others?
any flow chart is available, Bala, for this
Yeah.
flow, it's already there in
It's
the
there,
PMI
it's there in
guide.
the PMBOK, ma'am. It's there in the PMBOK.
Okay, thank you.
It's there in the PMBOK. Don't worry, it's there in the PMBOK. So flowchart is there available. Don't worry. Okay. Now, you get along with this work performance information in all the controlling process, you are able to get the change request. Here you'll be getting change request. If the customer is not accepting that change request, control scope change request. There is a scope creep there. Control schedule change request, because the people is not able to do the task which is assigned to them. They are delaying the task, that is delaying the dependency task. They are overspent, change request. The inspection is not done properly, change request, or the deliverable is not meeting the specification, change request. There is more utilization. Here, control resource process is going to focus only on the physical resource. Your control resource is going to focus only on the physical resource. Don't try to make any calculation that control resource is for the human. You can't control your human. The humans are so sensitive, you can't do any kind of spying work. You can't be a detective person. Control resources, there should be a proper control measures on the utilization of your physical resources. So you need to make sure that if there is overspent, the utilization is more than the planned utilization, then who's going to bear for the expenses? So control resource process is only for the physical resources, not for the human resource. Acquire resources, the develop team and manage team is going to focus on the human resource. But once it is coming to the control resource in your PMBOK, this process is exclusively only for the physical resources. Right or wrong, guys? You brought a printer,
Yes.
you brought a high-end printer, like a 10 to 12 printers you brought, and it's a cartridge is what highly costly cartridge, color cartridges. So you know very well that you need to just keep your resource under your control. So you are instructing the shopkeeper, so storekeeper, not to give more than 3 cartridges per week. it's integrated printer, and like a 4 to 5 department is going to give the printouts. Like they want to give the printout for the plans or design, they want to use the printers. Now you are able to find that the actual utilization is exceeding the planned utilization. In spite of 3 cartridges, which is so costlier, the storekeeper is giving 6 to 7 cartridges per week. So you will be putting the control measures on that. Do you put the control measures on that? You will need to ask the question why you are using more than 3 cartridges per week. It is decided that we can go only
Yes.
cartridges. You need to find out the reason, right?
Yes.
And your root cause says that the IT department is using 90% of the printers. They are giving a lot of prints. And they are giving the color prints, which is so costly. The company can't bear this expenses. You have to put the control measures. And you're asking for the IT team, why? What is the necessity for you to just take this much of prints? They are giving the reason that client is asking them to send the informations. They are not accepting us to give the soft copies. They are asking us to give the hard copies. What you are asking us to do? Then you're going to just sit with your team or your management, and you need to decide how to control the expenditure on the resources. So you are just deciding that, okay, client, you're speaking to the client, so we are just meeting a lot of expenses. We can't meet that kind of expenses. Since we are locked into the fixed price contract, we are not able to overspend. So we request that, can you just take the, in spite of taking the color prints, can you go with the black and white copies? So the client also is accepting that. So you're able to make the control. Or the printer which you brought from the shopkeeper is having the fault, or you need to do a proper service. So where are you going to see the service? Where are you going to see the service date? You need to call the people to do the frequent services, right? Hello?
Yes.
So you
Yes.
just go through the agreements to see whether we need to call the service people to do the service which you brought from them. You
Yes,
need to do
based
the
on
service with the wrong guys. So that also you'll be doing in the control resource. So don't try to just focus the control resource, only focusing on the resources utilization. What you need to plan, what you plan to utilize, make sure that it should not go beyond the variance. The actual utilization should meet the plan utilization. If the actual utilization is exceeding the plan utilization, then you need to just ask why. What is the reason? What is the root cause? So you're able to make a change request here. You're able to make a change request here. Change request. So where are you going to integrate all the change requests? All the change requests are collected and it's integrated in perform integrated change request. And this is the only one process in the entire project management is going to receive the complete change request as an input. This is only one process in the entire project management body of knowledge is going to receive the complete change request from each and every controlling process, and it is going to integrate all the change requests. They will not review the change request individually. They will be integrating the complete change request, and the complete change request is pushed to this particular process, and the process owner for this particular process will be CCB. They'll be using the complete change control tools. They can just give the approval if the change requests are substantial or unsupported with the supporting documents. If it is not given to be a substantial reason or not with the supporting document, they can push back to the change request to the requester, asking him to give the additional information for them to give the approval or rejections. It will be rejected, it will be approved, or it will be deferred. That means they need to wait for some test result from the laboratory for them to take a decision, or they just waiting for the new government to just make, they're going to take in charge, because the new government in that particular country will bring many transformation. So that particular transformation will be helping them to take a judgment. So they're just reserving the judgment to whether to give the approval or rejections. Right? Or they'll be sending the request back to the requester. So this can be happen. So they'll be using the change control tools for them to do the impact. So they need to do just whether if they're going to give the approval, where all the areas it will be impacted. So whether the change request which is sent to them is approved, disapproved, rejected, reason for the rejections, reason for the requester to get the form back. All this reason will be circulated. The status of the change request will be circulated in a document called change log. So we can have a break for 5 minutes. We can come at 8:10.
Yeah.
Miss Kala,
Yes, Bala, thank you.
8:10. Hello? You can start.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Bala. Yes.
So we'll start. So what is the output you're going to get from here? What is the primary output you will be getting once you're performing that process?
Data.
Deliverables. Deliverables.
Deliver.
That is a primary.
Deliver.
So it's a verified or a subject to verification.
Subject to verification.
Okay, what is the second output you're going to get from here? Datas.
Yep.
Right? It's unprocessed data, unprocessed informations, right? The third one is issue logs. Issue logs. Okay. So what are you going to do with the deliverables? We'll be sending the deliverables to quality control, right?
Yes.
And you'll be getting what? Verified deliverables. And you take that verified deliverables in the scope management is helping you with the process to validate. So validation is going to focus on correctness. Sorry, validation is going to focus on acceptance of the deliverables, formal acceptance. Verification will be focusing on correctness of the deliverables. So who's going to check the correctness? The inspectors. What they're going to have? They'll be having various ITPs. What is that ITPs?
Inspection test plans.
Inspection test plans, right? They will do something called walkthroughs. They'll be having something called checklist. They'll do something called a statistical sampling. So all this will be used as a tool and technique for them to do the verifications. So once the verification is done, they're going to send the list of verification, the verified deliverables to customer. So customer has to do the validations. Again, they'll be using the same tools and techniques here. With they will not use the statistical sampling. They'll be using the checklist, walkthrough. They'll be using the ITPs, the external inspector. They'll do the validation. So once the validation is done, either the deliverable can accept it. So if it is accepted, it will be coming as an accepted deliverables. If it's not accepted, it will be coming as a change request. And the reason for the change request will be going into work performance of the informations. Right? So now the second one is what? You're able to give the data, work performance data. So where are you going to take this work performance data? All the controlling process will be receiving its own data. Right? So who will be doing the assessment? They'll be using various kind of analytical techniques. They will be doing various kind of assessment, whether the actual work is having any kind of variance. Positive variance is good. The project will continue. Zero variance also, you're right on the target. What you planned, you're achieving that. No problem. If it is showing the negative variance, then the people has to recommend for the change request. And they need to know why there is a variance and what they're going to do and what is the reason for the variance. They need to give the root cause. And they'll be giving the solution how you need to remove that variance and what all the areas in the project is getting impacted because of this particular variance. So they need to bring in the form of work performance information. So your WPD is transformed into WPI. So what are you going to do with the WPI? So each and every control process, you'll be getting change request and WPI. Change request and WPI. Change request and WPI. So what are you going to do with the WPI? Hello?
WPR. Yeah.
So all
Work
the
performance
WPI is
report will be
connected here, where it is integrated here in the monitor and controlling project work, right? You are getting the WP from your person who's going to do your assessment, and they're giving you the complete information through work performance information. Now the data are processed, and we can call this one as a process data. And the work performance data or unprocessed information. So the unprocessed information is transformed into process data, and all the process data, which will be work performance information, will be integrated here in monitor and control project work. And project manager has to see the final glance before it was generated as work performance reports. So now which domain area is going to take in charge to disseminate the performance report? Which domain area? Hello?
quality management or
No. Communication, right?
okay.
Communications, right? Communication has to
Hmm.
take in charge to whom you need to communicate the performance report, who is your audience. So that information goes into your communication management plan. So you're going to use the communication management plan. Who's your audience? What kind of communication methods you have to use? What kind of techniques you need to use? Technology should be used. Whether it's a bi-weekly reports or weekly one times, or it should be fortnight, or it should be monthly once, or quarterly once, or it should be 6 months or 1 year. All this information goes into the communication management plan. So you're going to keep that one for you to disseminate the complete information through a process called managed communication process. So the work performance report will be used as a primary input for you to manage your communications. So clear or not, guys?
Yes, clear.
And one copy of performance report about your project, you'll be using here in manage team process. Once you're managing a team performance, you'll be using the work performance report about individual performance. As a manager, you need to make sure that you need to give a performance appraisal depending upon the performance of the team members. So one copy of work performance report will be sent to the project manager to see who has done a good work, who's not done a good work, whether the training is required. So you're able to see all this. So you are making sure that people who is a subordinate will be elevated based on his good work, and person who's having a long experience, that particular person will be demotivated because he's not able to get into that position because he's not able to give the good performance. So what you will be doing? A senior is working for 10 years, but a junior came 1 year before. Because of his good performance, you are able to elevate him based on the performance report. What happened to that senior? The 10 years is working in a company, and he's now in the current project is not showing the good performance from the day one. So what are you going to create?
We'll provide feedback and
No, you
work
will
on
give
that.
the resignation and will be going back, right? I will not work, you will be making the resignation and will be going outside your company, right? Or you'll be making some conflicts. Once you start managing the performance of individual team member based on the performance report which you brought from the monitoring and controlling, you can know very well there will be a lot of conflicts. So being a project manager is your responsibility. Once each and every conflict is escalated to you in managed team, you need to use the appropriate conflict resolution techniques. Is it clear or not, guys? Then one copy of work performance report will go into control procurement process. Why? Whose work performance report will be going into control procurement? You are a client and you brought a contractor, and the contractor is going to do the procurement service for you. So whose work performance report is brought here? Hello?
Procurement team.
No, whose work performance report is brought here as an input for you to do the control procurements? You need to control the procurements, right? If you don't have the control of the procurements, what happens? Your contract relationship will be successful if you are not holding the bargain from your end. If your contractor is not meeting the obligations, what happens to the contractor relations? Hello, guys.
Yeah, it will.
You brought
will
your
not be
contractors inside your project, and the person is not performing according to the condition of contract. What happens to your project?
Project will fail.
The project will fail, right? So you need to make sure that you need to have the control on your contractors and the procurements which you made with the contractors. So you need to just monitor the performance of your contractor, which will be helping you to monitor the performance. The work performance report, which you're going to collect on the contractor, will make sure that whether they are doing the good performance or bad performance. So based on that, you can go with the change request. Right? Right, guys? Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bala.
yeah,
Okay.
So here, both are, it's related to performance, right? So how can we differentiate that KPI versus this?
Which one?
So for contractors, we are evaluating their performance.
Okay,
to gauge
performance.
them.
Yeah, that will be one of the work performance report.
And yeah, and one more here, we are hearing like control on procurement. Here also we are talking about performance of contractors.
Performance
right?
of your contractors.
Okay, what is the difference of this contractor performance with relates to KPI and here? Is it
Yeah,
same or anything different?
It can be many kind of performance reviews. You can review their quality, you can review the scope of work, you can review their delivery, you can review their quality, you can review their cost, you can review their schedule. If always a particular person is giving you the late delivery, will you accept it? There is a clear breach, right?
Correct.
right? Or they
Yeah.
are, or from your side, you want to add the scope. As a contractor, as a client, you need to add some scope. So you need to revise the contract value, right? So you need to apply for the change request, right? So you need to review the complete performance of your contractor, whether it can be a scope performance, whether it's going to be quality performance, whether it's going to be cost performance, whether it's going to be the schedule performance. There should be a complete performance review on the contractors. All the performance review will be happening based on the performance report which you collected on the contractors. Who's going to give the performance report on your contractors? You have your inspectors, right?
Yes, quality.
They need to just collect the information about your contracts, whether they're doing the work according to the contract or not, right? And you will be having your own auditors, right?
Yes.
Or if you're going to bring the second party audit or third party audit. So you'll be going with a registered company and you'll be bringing the third party audit. You'll be doing the site inspections, everything, and you'll be giving the audit reports. So based on that, only you are able to generate the work performance report, right or wrong, sir?
Yes.
Right? So the WPI you're going to collect here from the control procurement that will be going inside as an input into monitoring and controlling project work that will be converted into performance report. So that will be helping you to just control the procurements, whether the procurement is going as per the condition of contract. Right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
One
Got it.
One copy of performance report will goes into one copy of the performance report will goes into monitor this process. Why? One copy of performance report will go into the communication to just disseminate the complete informations. So the people has to know what is happening in the project. How the people will know. If your manager or if your client is calling you, what you will be asking you, what you had for the breakfast and what you decide to have for the lunch, you'll be asking that. Hello? Guys, everyone gone to the sleep mode? Please come forward. We have another 30 minutes more. What your client will ask you. You'll be asking you what breakfast we had, what breakfast you had in the morning, what lunch you prepared to have in the afternoon. You'll be asking that, or you'll be asking the performance of your project.
Performance of the
So
Performance
how are you going to inform him? You'll be sending the performance report to the stakeholders, right?
Yes.
Right. Right. Now, why we need to bring that performance report here into monitor this process? Communication will take in charge through managed communication is able to disseminate the complete performance report. And one copy you're going to bring into managed team process to manage the team performance, to see that which team or which team member is doing good performance or bad performance. Based on that only, you are able to recognize them and reward them. Based on that one, you are able to give the performance appraisals. If the KPI is good for that particular team, you are able to give them a good performance appraisal. If the KPI is bad, you will be asking why it is bad. Continuously it is bad, you have to take some actions. And there will be a rupture in the team dynamics. Someone will make a conflict. No, I done a good job. You're not cooperating. You never like me. I'm a senior. So this kind of information will be happening. So the leadership skills and conflict management resolution skills will be helping you to resolve all the conflicts. So one copy will be going there, and one copy for you to just monitor the performance of your contractor, whether they are performing the work as per the contract terms and conditions. So the performance report will be giving the indication because your inspector has produced various reports and your auditors has given you the audit reports on the performance of the contractor. Even the contractor will be using their inspectors and their auditors. Whether you are able to pay them a properly or a timely manner, whether all the invoices are honored as per the terms and conditions, right? They also will be having their audit reports, right? Right or wrong, guys?
Yes.
Okay, you are working as a contractor, you are entering into a client, and the client is using a consultant, and the client doesn't know anything. The consultant is going to deal in behalf of client. And contractor, you are signing them, and once a work order is issued, after 60 days, you need to send a partial amount. A 50% amount will be reimbursed. But so far, you send 8 invoices, and all the 8 invoices kept pending, and it's almost 6 months. How you are able to prove that the payment is very poor from the client side? You need to have some evidence, right? Who's going to collect the evidence?
Finance team.
No. You need to just collect all this through performance report, right? about your client and the consultant, you need to raise the reports, right? Performance reports, right or wrong, sir? So that is the first step, whether they are just they are obeying the contract or they are just breaching the contract. Because one of the important information is that they need to pay you on a timely basis. So from the client side also, they will be raising the performance report. From the contractor side also, they will be raising the work performance report. Now, one copy of work performance report will be coming here as an input to monitor this process. Why?
To evaluate, is there any potential risk on the
No,
on
why?
the process?
What is the reason you need to have to run this process? Each and every process will be having its own functions. Direct and managed project work is only duty is to it has to implement all the management plans. It has to implement all the updated plans, and it has to implement all the change requests, approved change request. If monitor and control project work, the work is that it has to collect a complete work performance information from all the controlling processes, and it has to integrate and it has to send as a work performance report. It has to inform to the communication, and the communication IT people will just see the communication management plan. They need to disseminate the complete informations. If integrated change control process, it has to collect various change requests from all the controlling process. It has to review, it has to give the approval or rejections, or they have to send the request form back to the requester. Only job is that. So each and every process will be having its own specific functions. So what is the specific function you can see under the monitor risk process?
The risk is occurred or not occurred.
Okay,
like
risk is occurred or not occurred. Whether your response was worked out well or not worked out well. If your response was working out well, that means that is meeting your project expectations. You're able to push your project towards profitability zone, right or wrong, sir? It's a condition of project manager and the risk manager. They need to keep the risk profile as a better profile. If you are not keeping your risk profile of the project as a better profile, what happened to your project? Can you able to produce profitability? Can you able to push your project towards a profitability zone if your risk profile is not a better profile? What is the reason for you to just bring the risk into the risk register? Why we need to do the assessments? Why we need to plan the responses? Why we need to implement the responses? Because we need to keep the risk profile as a better profile. So we need to monitor whether the response was worked out well and we are able to just limit the impact of the risk. Right or wrong, sir? Hello?
yes,
Okay. If you have the work performance report, all the work performance report shows minus. The project is still increased with the risk or it is decreased with the risk?
decreased.
No. If the performance report is having completely minus,
Will increase.
you have a cost
Risk
variance,
is
you have a schedule
increased.
variance, you have the scope creep, you have scope variance.
Increase the risk.
It will be increasing the risk. You need to alert the person. Okay, there is a risk in the project. Try to identify that risk. That is impacting your cost. That is impacting your schedule. That is impacting your resources. So one copy of your work performance report has to go into the monitor risk process. Is this clear or not, guys? So since it is an integration, you will be having something of a switching here and there. But once we are coming to each and every knowledge area, it's very easy for you to understand. You can recollect your memories. Everything will be properly revealing to you guys. Right? Any questions? Can I move forward?
Yes, Bala.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No questions, Bala. We
Okay.
can move.
Okay, so once you are pushing the change request here, all the change requests which is collected from all the controlling process, you're pushing as an input here. So what is the output you're going to get? Approved change request or not approved, right? So whether it's approved or not approved, why it is approved, why it is not approved, you're able to communicate the status to the stakeholder who has requested the change request through change log. So now what are you going to do with the approved change request?
And start from the
What are you going to do with the approved change request? You are able to bring the approved change request to direct and manage project work. Because the quality control has given you the quality control has given the change request and the performance information report as shows that we have to do the rework. Otherwise, the customer will not accept it. So you are applying for the change request for you to get the rework. Rework, you know very well that you never brought that kind of money, that kind of time into your plan, in your budget or in your time. Does anyone is bringing the rework time and rework money while you plan your budget and your schedule?
No.
So you need to have extra time, you need to have extra resources, you need to have the extra cost for you to do the rework, for you to fix the defect, right? So you are pushing the change request here to the perform integrated. So you are getting your change request approved. What are you going to do with the approved change request? You'll keep that one dusted.
We'll start the rework.
What,
Along
where
with
you going
the-
to you have to do the implementation, re-implementation. So re-implementation will be happening again in the data managed project work. Right or wrong, sir?
Yes.
So what you're going to get once you are implementing the approved change request in the direct and managed project work, what are you going to get?
I mean,
Again, deliverables.
Again,
Yeah,
deliverables.
Again, the data on the deliverables which is repaired. Again, you'll be getting issue logs. Any issues are there or no issues are there, that will be recorded in the issue logs. And again, where are you going to take the deliverables?
Control, quality.
Quality control. And what they're going to do, they do the inspections. Okay, it's repaired perfectly, and we're going to say that it's passed our inspection. It can go to the customer. It becomes as a verified deliverables. Where are you going to take the verified deliverables? To validate scope.
Validate scope.
To get the formal acceptance for the client. So once they're going to get the formal acceptance, you will be taking that acceptance deliverables to close your project or phase, or you have any procurements or any kind of legal agreements, you're going to close that legal agreement first, then you'll be closing your project or phase. Is it clear or not, guys? So the main thing is for the direct and managed project work is that it has to implement the plan, it has to implement the updated plan, or it has to implement the approved change request. Where you will be getting the approved change request, always approved change request will be coming as an output, because you're pushing the change request here. Change request will be approved or not approved. Not approved, the reason they'll be giving in the change log. Right? Approved change request, it has to be re-implemented. So everything is properly updated and will be moving forward with the latest version, and you are able to give to the execution team. Execution team will be following the updated plan to implement the approved change request. You'll get the deliverables. It has to go to the quality control, then it has to go to validate scope, and you need to get your acceptance, then you have to close your procurements and you have to close the phase. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yes, Bala, clear.
Okay, now what happened here? If the project, you know very well, the primary input for you to close a particular phase of your project or something, if you don't get your acceptance, or your project sponsor is asking you to scratch this project. So we know very well, even though the project is terminated, scratched, or stopped in between, you need to run this process, because all your lessons learned document will be updated here, and you need to generate something called final reports. So I don't have the accepted deliverables. So what I'll be using to close the project? Because I never went to this particular stage. Before that, my sponsor was asking to close the project. But being a responsible project manager, I need to say that my sponsor, I need to run this process because I need to collect various information, success, failure criteria. I need to just collect the complete lessons learned. I need to bring into a repository. I need to see everything which is used in the project is properly updated. Whether we are able to create a final report, the summary report, we need to find out where we've gone wrong, where we went right. So all the information you need to do, administrative tasks you need to perform, clerical work you need to do. So what makes you to close this one if the project is terminated? You never gone into this extent. You produce the deliverables, and even you never done the quality control. So what are you going to do with this? What are you going to use for you to close the project? What I'm asking is clearly understood, right? If the project is going for a proper closure, no problem. We have to go through each and every process. You can't skip any process. We need to go through the control quality. We need to bring the deliverables here. We need to go to the inspector. They will be going through the complete deliverables using the complete checklist. And they do various kind of testing and inspections, walkthroughs. So they are able to just give the certificate, which is passed, which is not passed. Which is not passed, they will be giving the reason. And they'll be recommending for change request. The reason will be going into work performance information, what the project manager has to do to repair it. If it is accepted, it will be going to validate scope. So that is clear. And once the customer is validating, they're going to sign the acceptance criteria. If they are not signing the acceptance criteria, they're going to take the deliverables, then you know very well, you need to wait for some time. Then you can consider the project is getting closed. So you need to do the proper escalations. That all we found out. Right now, the project in between is given for a cancellation. The people are done with the deliverables. They are ready. The people done the deliverables. It's right now subject to verify, but the sponsor is asking you to close the project. Even though it's closing the project, you need to close the last two process. Whether it's a successful closure or it's a failure closure, you need to run the process because all your administrative and clerical work you need to do. You need to redeploy your resources, right? You have to just make sure that you need to have the peer reviews. You need to call the customers, whether they're satisfied or not satisfied, what made them to satisfy, what made them to dissatisfied, unsatisfied, how the work can be enhanced for the future phase and future projects. It can be like a customer rapport meetings will be there. Lessons learned meeting will be there. Everything is properly updated. Everything is got collected. So you will be doing that one. But the project went for a cancellation, termination, scratch. So what will be as a prime? What you going to use as a primary input for you to close your project or a specific phase for a terminated or scratched or a stopped project? Can I say? Can I say? Can I say?
Yeah, Bala.
Please note out. Partially completed deliverables or uncompleted deliverables will be used as an input for you to close your project or phase. Why it is a partially completed, why it's uncompleted. So that reason you need to bring it to the lessons learned. You have to bring it to a lessons learned register and you need to close your project or you'll be closing your phase. Right? Because you need to make a decision what you need to do with the partially completed deliverables, whether you're going to throw it or whether you will be using for other business. You have to take a decision on that, right or not, guys? So if the project is closed or it's a project is closed because of termination in between, validation scope is not happened, verification scope is not happened, but the sponsor is asking you to close your project, you need to perform the close project or phase process and make sure that you need to bring the partially completed or uncompleted deliverables as a primary input, and you need to give the reasons in the lessons register why it is terminated, why we have partially completed deliverables, and what we have decided to do with this partial completed or uncompleted deliverables in the closed project or phase process. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now the third output you're going to get from the direct and managed project work will be issue logs. Issue logs. So you have the deliverables subject to verification, you have the work performance data, and you'll be having issue logs. Issue is good or bad. Conflict will be good or neither bad. What about issues?
Issues also will be
Please
good
note,
or
issues are considered as already occurred risk. Issues are considered as already occurred risk. Risk are considered yet to occur issues. Risk are yet to occur issues. Issues are yet already occurred risk. Always issues will be giving you negative consequences. Issues will be giving you only negative consequences. The severity will be only negative severity. Consequences will be only negative. It will not give you the positive consequences. It may rain. It's a risk or issue. It may rain. Issues or risk.
Risk. It may
It is
rain.
already raining.
issue.
Okay. The lead engineer, she may leave the organization. The lead engineer, she's only one lead engineer, subject matter expert, SME. She will leave the organization. Issue or risk?
Issue.
She may leave.
There is risk.
The lead engineer, only she's a subject matter expert, already left the organization. Issue.
Issue.
So it's an already occurred risk, right? So be very cautious. Risk may or may not occur. It will give you the impact. The impact can be two kinds of impact: positive impact and negative impact. But issues are negative impacts. So negative impact. So you need to capture the complete issues in the issue log. The material is not feasible. The weather is not feasible to work. The delivery always it's a late delivery. You're not able to get your access once you're entering into the muster point, right? This will be issues. So issues will be a lot of issues. So once you have the issues, make sure that you need to take a proactive approach. You need to make sure you need to assign a responsible person from your team. You need to assign him as a owner to log all the issues in the issue log. And you need to just give him a target date for him to resolve the issues. Issues are warning signal. If you're going to just mount with your issues and you're going to travel towards your destiny, completely warning signal. You're not giving any kind of resolutions. So whether you are able to reach your destiny, if you are not giving the resolutions in appropriate time, but keep on adding the issues in the issue log, can you able to reach your destiny?
No.
No. Please be very cautious. The issues are your warning signal. Don't try to take the issues as a light. Issues can happen for many factors. It can happen for many factors. It can come between the team members. It can come from the stakeholders. It can happen between the contractors and the subcontractors. It can happen to the contractors and the client organization. It can happen to the consultant and the contractor. It can happen internally with the steering committee, project manager and the steering committee. Even the sponsor and the project manager will be having the issues. So all the issues can be logged into issue log, and you need to you have to take a proactive approach. So the generation of the issue log is generated in a process called direct and managed project work. Right. So 3 important output you are able to get from the direct and managed project work. One is your deliverable subject to verification. Other one is complete work performance data on the deliverables. The last one is the issue logs. Right. Okay. Okay. Now we have only one process left over here, manage project knowledge. So we can see in the next class that one. So last class we never seen the questions. Can we go for the questions? Guys, so before going into that one, I want to just see that your plan scope management is helping you to get your scope management plan and your requirement management plan. You're going to send that 1 year, and your requirement management plan is a full supporting document for you to perform the collect requirement process, where you are able to bring the requirement documentation. To support the requirement documentation, you are able to create something called requirement traceability matrix, right? Because the project charter will be having high level that should be transformed into detail level. So you are able to create the requirement documentation. This process is helping you to bring the requirement documentation. Complete requirements are gathered, right? Gathered, collected using various techniques, and you're able to create the requirement documentation. So requirement documentation is helping you to define your scope, and you're able to bring the scope statement. Now the scope statement is a very detailed, and you can't deliver that deliverables as a single execution. So what you're going to do, you are using the scope statement, following the scope management plan, you are able to do the create WBS. So we already seen that we are able to establish the scope baseline. So create WBS is able to bring the scope baseline. So what documents is integrated in the scope baseline? Hello?
Yes, Bala. Scope
What
statement.
documents? What documents is integrated here in the scope baseline? 5 documents I said, right?
Approved scope statement.
Approved scope statement, WBS
WBS
dictionary.
dictionary.
You have
Dictionary.
work packages, and you got work
Dictionary.
packages. Work packages. So you are establishing the scope baseline, and it's integrated here. So you know very well the team has to know when they have to deliver the work packages. So each and every work packages is delivered here as deliverables. Is clear or not, guys?
Yes, clear.
Scope management plan is not the scope baseline. It is teaching you how to establish the clear scope baseline. So when the same scope management is going to receive its deliverables, you are able to create your WBS work packages here. And the work packages is the people know what work package they need to work. They are implementing, they are following the plan, they are implementing the work, and you are able to get your deliverables, nothing but your work packages. So which scope process is going to bring the deliverables or the work packages, which is established here? You are able to establish the scope baseline, and within the scope baseline, you are able to get the work packages, right? That's the lowest level, right? All your work packages is deliverable. So you know very well that how many work packages the execution team has to deliver. So you're going to bring the team, and you are able to make the people to work, and you're able to deliver that work packages. So which scope management process is going to receive the work packages? Hello? You are establishing the work packages here in current WBS, right?
Yes.
The same work package is coming here for you to do the validations. Right or wrong, sir?
Yeah.
The same work packages is inspected here and it's getting passed in the inspection is coming here. The same work package, whether the work package is done as per the specification. Right? So the work package should not have any kind of a discrepancy. You should not add the scope, or you should not omit the scope. So there should be strict scope control. You're not allowing any kind of change, any kind of scope changes. If the scope changes you want to make in the existing work packages, you need to make sure that that has to come from the formal. You send your change request to the perform integrator, get your approval here, and make the changes and implement that one. It will be coming as a deliverables. Right? Any doubts? So we have completed the integration. We have only one process. We completed almost the scope management. So there is one process in the integration managed project knowledge we'll be completing in the next class. So scope management is completed. Resource management, we don't require to go. Already we've seen that one, what is the important. Quality management also, we see that what all the things we do. Resource management also, we know very well what we have to do in the develops team stage, control resources, manage resources. We'll be having the full classes on the schedule management. So 2 classes is there for us to have the schedule management, the complete informations about how to create your network diagram. We'll be having that things. And you need to just come with the network diagram. I'll give some problems. Cost management, we'll be discussing in the complete earn value, the equations. So make sure that we need to go through at least 16 to 18 formulas. And we need to work with 30 questions on mathematical. Right now, the project management institutes came back. They are asking more questions on mathematical. So the cost management is the only topic we'll be having the mathematical subject. So we'll be having the complete things. 2 classes will be spent on the cost management. Then we'll go with the procurement and we'll be going with the risk management. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you're able to see a new screen in front of you.
Yes, number 1 question.
This question is came from May 2023. They brought this question as I taken 25 questions out of it. After a couple of iterations, the project manager decided to present the product to a key stakeholder. The stakeholder feedback is that the team missed the mark on many features. What should the project manager do to avoid these features? We seen or yet to see?
Yeah, we saw this.
We saw this?
No. I have not seen this.
No.
This is second set of questions, right? We seen only the first set of questions. So what will be the answer?
B.
B for boy.
Yeah, because how to avoid this in future, only the question.
Okay. See, they are missing many features.
Correct. But the question is how it will be avoided, right? It's not like how we are correcting the mistake what we did.
Already
Right?
got the feedback from the stakeholder, right, Ms. Kala? The feedback is that the people is missing many features.
With many features, yeah.
So already the feedback you got. What are you going to do?
And then A.
Yeah. So which process from the project manager is supporting you to collect the requirements? Collect requirement process, right? Correct or not?
Correct.
Collect requirement process.
They should
Requirement
be-
gathering session is
Yeah,
happening where? Which process supporting from the project management body of knowledge? Your collect requirement process. So if you're going to collect your requirements, where are you going to document all the requirements? In the predictive projects, you'll be documenting all the requirements in a document called requirement documentations.
Yeah.
What is the document is used in the IT adaptive
Backlog.
backlog, product backlog, right? Backlog, product backlog, will be
Yes.
used, right? So product backlog will be collecting the complete requirements, and the requirement documentation in the predictive project will be used for you to collect the requirements. So once all the requirements are collected, modified, changed, and reached to the baseline stage, you need to just bring one more document to track and trace the life cycle of each and every requirements. from the requirement stage until you're going to bring as a deliverables, or from the deliverable stage back to the requirement stage. So what is the document which will be supporting you, the tracking and tracing?
Log.
RTM, please don't forget this one. Requirement traceability
Traceability
matrix.
matrix.
Requirement traceability matrix is a document that will be tracking and tracing the complete requirements from the, it's going to track each and every requirement throughout its life cycle. Whether the project will be running for 6 months, the project will be running for 3 years, 4 years. From the day one you got that requirements is not gone for any changes. So the people asked to work for that requirements, they need to convert that requirements as deliverables, and each and every requirements will be adding the business value, right? So RTM is the tracking and tracing documents. You can do forward traceability, you can do backward traceability, or you can do bi-directional traceability. So the answer will be this. So it's happening in the scope management. The process which is going to support is collect requirements or gather requirements. Can we use brainstorming session for us to gather the requirements?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
please note that the brainstorming is called as the group creativity technique. Group creativity technique. Can you use the focus group to collect the requirements? Bringing a moderator and bringing the important stakeholders to gather the requirements from them. Can we do with the focus group? Can we use the facilitator to do this sessions? Can you do the facilitation technique for us to gather the requirements? Say yes or no, guys, because this is
Yes.
examination, right?
Yeah, we can sit
Please
here.
note down. Please note down. So facilitator will be used for you to do the facilitation technique for gathering the requirements. So in the IT, they call one of the facilitation technique in bringing the customer and the developers in the same room. The customer will be giving the complete specifications or complete requirements or features to the developer who is sitting next to him. The developer will be understanding what they need to bring into the product line. So this kind of facilitation technique in the IT or the adaptive project is called as a RAD. Rapid Application Development. Please note down. RAD session is nothing but it's one of the facilitation technique where the facilitator is going to invite the customer and the developers who's going to develop features, and they're going to bring the particular feature into that product line. They make the developer to sit along with the customer. The customer will be coming what we need, how we want to use the product, what kind of features he's asking you to bring, what logo where you need to use, what logo color you want to use. So what kind of the function that particular feature has to give to the customer. So the customer is going to narrate the complete information under the supervisor of the facilitator, and the developer is going to observe the complete informations. So this kind of session is called as a RAD, which is nothing but Rapid Application Development. So in the predictive project, the same RAD is called as a JAD. Please note down, a Joint Application Development or Joint Application Design. JAD is nothing but Joint Application Design or Joint Application Deployment or Development. So JAD will be used in the predictive approach for you to gather the requirements. RAD will be used in the adaptive environments. Don't try to confuse in the examination point of view. So rapid application development is nothing but you will be using the facilitator. You're going to bring the customer and the developers. The same will be used, but the term is a different term in the predictive methodology. This is called as a joint application development or deployment or design. Okay. Can we use the observation and conversation for us to gather the requirements?
Yes.
Please note, this is very important. Observation and conversation is one of the important interpersonal skills will be used for you to gather the requirements. Observation is that you need to observe a person, how the person is going to do a process, how the particular person is going to use your product, whether he is having any difficulty to use that particular product. Based on the observation, you are able to know what you need to exactly bring into the product line. Many of the people are Indians, right? Many of the people connected here is Indian, right?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You got you've seen a picture called Munnabai MBBS, or in Tamil you got
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Vasul Raja.
Raja
Vasul
MBBS.
Raja MBBS. There is a film where Kamal Haasan will be acting. You can see the doctor will be using the small, what you call for that scalpel, right? Scalpel.
Yeah.
So you'll be bringing a dead body. That dead body, according to the medical terminology, is called as a cadaver. So you'll be doing the dissections. So where you'll be using that scalpel to do a dissections. So what the people will do, the medical students, dean will do this dissections. He will be doing the procedure. What the medical student will do?
They will observe.
Observation. Please note down. This kind of observation is called as job shadowing. Job shadowing. Soft skills, they're going to bring a job shadowing. Or we can call this one as a work shadowing, job shadowing or work shadowing. Okay, next week the dean will say what dissection or procedure right now we're done with the scalpel. I will bring another cadaver. So you people has to do in front of me. So now what he is making is making the participant to do the work, to do the procedure, and the dean will observe them whether they are doing a good procedure or bad procedures. Right or wrong, sir? Right or wrong? So this is called as participant observer. Participant observer. Participant observer. Or we will be calling this one as reverse job shadowing. Reverse job shadowing. So the conversation and the observation is an interpersonal skill that will be used for you to collect the complete requirements. You should not miss any kind of requirements from your stakeholders. Tomorrow, you will be in trouble. So you need to make sure that the stakeholder list should have the complete key stakeholder list. Who's the high influential stakeholder? Who's having the high interest in your project? Who's a highly powerful stakeholder? They can make your project, they can break your project. Make sure that you need to list out that stakeholder. You need to use various kind of tools and techniques for you to reach them to collect the requirements. Either you can send the business analyst, or you'll be sending the tendering engineers, or you'll be asking the people to send the correspondence through email, where you're going to bring the complete requirements into the requirement documentation of the product backlog. Can I use the prototype for me to collect the requirements? Can I use the prototype for me to collect the requirements, to gather the requirements? What do you mean by prototype? What do you mean by
It's a
prototype?
miniature model of the
It's a
product.
miniature working model, right? Before
Miniature.
you're going to order a large raw materials into the production line, you just want to get the early feedback by using the miniature working model, right? So prototype also will be one of the important tools that will be used for you to get the early feedback from the customers. Right? Nowadays, the people are not using the prototype, a miniature, because they need to spend a lot of money on that. If the particular miniature is going to come for a repeated feedback, one time the stakeholder is asking you to change that one, and repeatedly the stakeholder is asking you to change something in that, and he's asking you to scratch at the prototype, you're going to waste more money on the prototype rather on the final product. So in order to avoid this, right now, the latest software application is brought for all the construction engineers and managers. It's called the BIM. What is BIM? BIM is nothing but your computer prototyping. I am not discussing anything out of the syllabus. Once you are going for facing the examination, everything will be banged in your head. Okay, this are all the things we are discussing. So building information modeling is one of the computer prototyping is used. You will not waste any kind of materials. Many aircraft companies have adopted this BIM, computer prototyping. They want to just know the crash worthiness of the vehicle. They want to know the fuel efficiency of the aircraft. Everything they're going to do the adjustment using the computer prototyping. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the IT projects, they will use one kind of prototype as called as, please note on storyboarding for collecting the requirements. Ms. Kala, can you give the information about the storyboarding, ma'am? Ms. Kala?
Yes, Pala.
Can you know about the storyboarding will be used one of the tool for you to collect the requirements?
Yes. Yeah,
You know
we
that
did.
the Cartoon Network, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Tom and Jerry. You can see there is a serious navigation of the cartoon film, the cartoon,
Yeah.
right? So this all
Yeah.
the things will be collected. They're going to gather the things. They need to bring that one as animation film through the series of things which is painted as a navigations. So they're going to call this kind of a technique is called as a storyboarding technique to collect the requirements. So the adaptive project will be using one of the prototyping model will be called as a storyboarding will be used for you to gather the requirements for you to bring that requirements as a feature into the product backlog. Is it clear or not, guys? Or sometimes the people will be using something called proof of design or proof of concept. The proof of design or proof of concept will be used for the people to gather the requirements. Before they're going to baseline the requirements and they want to start the work on the requirements which is collected. Or they need to define the detailed scope statement. Without the requirement documentation, they are not able to break that, define the detailed scope statement. Right? So there is no need for you to have the scope statement in the adaptive project. You will be having something called epics for you to break the product into various features. There is no need for you to perform a process called create WBS. Only in the predictive project, the project is so complex in nature, you can't execute the project as a single execution. Lump sum of the work is broken into more management components. So there is a process which is going to facilitate for you to break this one will be the create WBS. There is no need for you to use the create WBS process in the adaptive projects. May or may not. Okay. So the answer for the first one is A. The first one is going to take A. The second one. Project manager for a maintenance project as a contract that is renewed annually. The project started 6 years ago. After contract renewal this year, the auditor reported that the version of the contract violates a new law that was passed out last year. What was happened in these situations? Bear with me for only 8 minutes. We'll finish. What is your take? Again, I'm saying that this is not taken from any commercial website. This is taken from directly from the PMI Exam Security Board. This was tested with your predecessor. So what is your option? The project manager for a maintenance project as a contract that is renewed annually. The project started 6 years ago. After contract renewal this year, the auditors reported that this version of the contract violates a new law that was passed last year. What was happened in the situations?
B, bravo.
The stakeholder engagement plan has not been correctly implemented. Okay. Any other options? What about A for alpha? Hello? Who has given
Because
the answer?
this law came after the renewal, right? The law was passed after the renewal, right? So A.
What about A? Can we go with A for alpha? Because
See here,
they
yeah,
never
yeah.
said that the people are not engaged. They never said that people are not engaged. They said that they just forgot to do the renewal. The project has started 6 years before,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So they doesn't know the new law is passed.
Is it something related to legal department like C?
Huh?
D, maybe this D.
C.
The project manager does not have enough knowledge on this legal matter. No, we can't say that one, right? Because he's having the. So what is the correct answer? The legal department has not disseminated the law correctly to all the staff, or the contract has not been appropriately reviewed by the contract project lead.
Because it's
It,
it looks like C is the correct answer.
So CRA.
Yeah. Both are involved, but since it is it relates to law, I think C will be more.
So the legal department was not disseminating the communication about the law correctly to all the staff, right?
Yes.
The people are not aware of the law, which is important. So who will be the person to just inform the people? The legal team inside the company, right? They need to know what kind of compliances are going for a changes, any new laws passed. Right or wrong, sir? Right or wrong?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the correct answer is that legal department has not disseminated the law correctly to all the staff. So this is going to business environment questions. Remember that 8% you'll be getting from business environment, total 16 you'll be getting out of 180. So the correct answer will be C for China. Second. The third one, a project manager of a company is considering a high-performing junior member of the organization to be the new project manager for a current project. What should the project manager do to prepare for a recommendation to the senior management? A person is a junior, but is giving a high performance. He want the existing project manager want to promote him as a new project manager for a current project.
C.
So what recommendation he has to send to the senior management?
Charlie. See.
C
C.
for cat.
Okay. Gather project artifacts. What all the documents, right? That will be giving the concurrence for the person to be elevated as a future project manager. So what all this achievement, what all the KPI, what all this performance, everything will be gathered. You need to gather and you need to send into the So what is the answer for fourth one? During the initiation of a new product improvement project, a project manager finds historical data showing that a similar project resulted in the customer complaint of an even worse user experience compared to the previous product version. How can the project manager prevent this outcome in a new project? So the project has never moved into planning stage. Still, it is in the initiation
Yes.
stage. The historical data which you collected as a lessons learned from the customer, your feedback shows that customer was complaining. It was very worst user experience. So how you are able to prevent this? Who doesn't want this kind of feedback in the current product improvement?
Either D
You're able
or
to-
C
A.
or
Huh?
B or
D.
C.
No, I want one. You can't just play Inky Pinky Ponky.
So stakeholder, before stakeholder C, project charter, because D is the once it is executed, that is once we are moving to the next stage, it's the
So
initial
the
stage,
user
right?
experience is very bad. He's not complaining the product.
Correct. But project is in the initiation stage. It's
Okay.
not moving to next stage. In that
Okay.
case, we cannot take first one and last one, right?
Okay.
So we have only B and C. Here, stakeholder identification will happen after the project charter will be.
Even the stakeholder identification can happen during the project charter process, parallelly.
Parallelly. In that case,
Parallelly.
then so
Can we
we
go with
can take B.
B for Bravo?
Yeah,
So the correct answer is B for Bravo.
yeah.
The last for the day, since it's 9:10, technical project, Ms. Kala will be cursing me inside. A technical manager newly appointed by the client visits the project site to verify the project deliverables. The technical manager feels that the project manager has not been providing enough information. What should the project manager do first to resolve the situations? First, so the technical manager is making a complaint of the project manager during his site visit that is not providing the appropriate information. So how the project manager has to resolve this? What is the first thing he has to do?
Second one.
Huh?
B. Bravo.
B. Identify the lack of information as a risk. No, this is already done. No, he's shown his frustrations.
First one. Update the
C.
issue log and escalate to the
Then
project.
why you are there as a project manager?
C. Charlie.
Okay. What about that D? Review and update the stakeholder engagement plan. Engagement is that what previously you should have considered that this person is a less engaged. So he has developed a strategy that not to communicate the information because he's a less influential stakeholders. Right now, the technical person is coming directly to the site visit and is asking for the informations. So right now, you found out that particular person is more influential person. So can he able to keep the same engagement plan as it is?
No,
No.
we can
So he has
update,
to
we can
change
add that.
his engagement is going for the less interest to the more interest. So he can be less powerful to more powerful. He has to change this one, right?
Yes.
So the review and update stakeholder engagement plan. It can be a stakeholder management plan or it can be a stakeholder engagement plan. You can call it either way. So once you're planning the stakeholder management, you will be developing the stakeholder engagement plan or stakeholder management plan. So where you're going to bring all your stakeholder engagement strategies. So that engagement strategy will make you very closer to the stakeholder. You are able to know about the issues. We are able to know about the concern. You are able to know whether the people are happy, whether the people are engaged, or the other people are disengaged. What made them as a disengaged? So what will be the strategy? Will work out the people to engage, more meetings, more. You are calling for the seminars. You are asking to make the attendance. They're just replying to your email. So all the information you are able to see. So any questions?
No,
Okay. So again, I'm saying that we will be completing the complete integrations. We have already completed the scope management. We know very well what is the use of each and every process. Resource management, the soft skills, where you need to use your soft skills, right? Then we got into communications also, but we already seen that one. So the main focus is that schedule management, complete 2 classes, cost management, complete 2 to 3 classes, risk management, 2 to 3 classes, and procurements.
Okay. Bala, one question. So far, we have covered this many processes, right? So
Yeah.
how we have to start the revision? Only we are looking the notes, whatever you have given so far.
Okay.
So
No, I'm asking you to
chapter-wise
just go to
question-
the PIMWalk 6th edition and start reading for the first chapter number first onwards.
Oh, okay. Along with that, agile
Along
also
with
we
the
have.
Agile.
So any question, chapter-wise question, we have to practice it.
No, actually, the question will not be asked for the chapter wise, no, because they are giving the importance to all the chapters.
Correct. But
Right.
while practicing the chapters, we should have some
No,
questions.
actually, it's very clearly understood, like a compliance related, safety related, security related, regulatory related, that will be coming under the business environment. So this kind of question will be asked in the business environment. Resource
Okay.
management topic, communication management topic, and stakeholder engagement topic that will be focusing on the people process, people domain.
Yeah.
Remaining other 7 domain areas like from the integration, procurement, risk management, cost schedule, quality management, everything will be falling under the process domain areas.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. See you on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Good night, everyone.
thank you, Bala.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
So we're done with 5 questions and we need to do the remaining 20. Keep in mind.
Sure.
Okay.
Keep in mind, and next week, next class, be ready to just see the how you're going to create the network diagrams and what are the methods you're going to use. Many calculations will be there. So next 3-4 classes, you just have the calculator, a simple calculator.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night.